And welcome in, Bandits fans, as you are tuning in to the first ever episode of the brand new official podcast of the Bancroft Bandits baseball team. This is the Bandits Hideout, and this is your play-by-play commentator and overall just media guy, Mitch Keeran. And I'll be hosting this new show. And since this is the first episode, then it's only fitting we bring in the skipper, the head coach of the defending champion Bancroft Bandits, Mitchell Keeran. Michael, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me. Pumped to talk to you about Bandits baseball.
Well, we're all getting real pumped up, too, for the upcoming season, as I'm sure a lot of our players are obviously getting in towards their spring seasons right now, but we just can't wait until they don the purple this summer. But let's go ahead and backtrack towards last season, just to kind of refresh our memories, what we were doing last. You led Bancroft to an overall 33-5 record in your first year there. Won the Pioneer League championship over Carroll in a one-game championship series, 7-5, in what was really a very historic comeback victory. Can you kind of just summarize, just sum up for me what it was like coaching the Bandits last season? What that meant to you in that very historic town of Bancroft, and overall just that culmination ending in that championship.
Yeah, I was familiar with the league being from Albert Lea the year before, and we were kind of rivals, honestly, the first year Albert Lea and Bancroft were, just because of how close our towns were, and just because of how close our games were usually and how we played in the playoffs. So I was a little bit, I kind of went from being the bad guy then to the good guy, so to speak. And I'm sure I was portrayed as a villain when I was at Albert Lea, and then now, they liked me quite a bit. But they were super welcoming, which is something that I expected because it's such a great community, and I really got to fall in love with it as the summer went on, and it's full of a lot of really special people and special families, and the baseball there is, it just has a really, really cool feeling about it. You can feel the tradition and the pride in the stadium and in the town.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, and when the season happened, we had a lot of success, and we had a lot of support, and that carried on, from the beginning of the year to the end, and then into the championship game. It was, honestly, we were really we dominated the regular season, and we swept Fort Dodge in the divisional round, and then we got into the championship game, and it just kind of whatever could go wrong went wrong early on in the game. We had a couple calls here and there that didn't go our way. We had a couple fluke plays that didn't go our way. I felt like we were playing pretty even with them. We just had a ton of bad luck, and then late, we had some momentum. Tommy hit a big home run for us. Chris pitched his butt off in relief. And then I think the luck and the momentum kind of switched in that eighth inning, I believe. And we scored a bunch of runs to kind of take the lead and get a little bit of a cushion. And then Chris was about as dominating as he's ever been. I think he struck out like the last 9 hitters of the game. And he gave us a chance, and we just did enough. And we had enough things go right in the end, and it was that final out. It was so special, coaching him alongside Coach VanVacter, and then those guys. We had a very special group, and those families, those host families, and the people in charge, they deserved it. They deserved a championship. The town deserved a championship. It was really special to me, and it was one of my favorite seasons to ever be a part of, playing or coaching.
Yeah, and just that lights-out performance when Crosby came in relief. He only faced 9 hitters, struck all of them out. Now, I think he's only done that one other – and to think that he's also done that one other time this past season against Ames. Instead, this time it was the first 9 he faced, and, of course, that was one of his best performances. And also want to give a big shout-out to Bobby Galindo, because I feel like that's kind of where the tide started. He had maybe a 13 – or somewhere in that ballpark, around 15 pitch at bat, where he just kept battling, fouling off pitches, and he finally laced a single down the right field line. And that game was just so crazy to even call up in the booth, but I'm sure it was even nerve wracking down in the dugout. But to even go back before day one of even practice or even the recruiting process, it seems like you really just got a lot of guys that, I was talking to a lot of last year's players before the season started, and that was ultimately the goal. You got a lot of players that, to buy in to let's bring the title home. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they just knew my expectations, and that's part of the recruiting process is recruiting guys that value winning, value success, and that hasn't changed. I try to recruit guys from very, very good college programs or have had very successful backgrounds, so it's second nature to them. Winners want to be around winners, losers want to be around losers, and we wanted to be around. We felt like the organization deserved a winning team, and I'm about as competitive as they come. I think you know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to surround myself with as many good ball players and coaches as I could when I was making that team and recruiting that team and developing a staff. And it started from the top and went down all the way. One through whatever how many ever guys we ended up with. 1 through 20 something. It was a collective team effort, and it was really special. And yeah, I just think that's part of the, when organizations try to be successful, it starts with the employees, or in this case, the players. It's all about them at the end of the day, and recruiting is so big, and especially for summer ball, recruiting wins, and yeah, developing helps, and coaching and game stuff helps, but it all starts and ends with the players.
And there were a lot of great games, without a doubt. I can remember the 1-0 pitchers duel where Now Ball struck out 15 hitters. He also himself had a no-hitter, but it was just a very impressive spectacle to see, and that much great feeling that they kind of got to etch their name into Bancroft history for a first as the Bandits, getting that title, and also managing to have 6 players further their careers to the next level, the professional level. If I could list all of them off here, was Niall Ball, Ryan Bird, Nico Mayoral, Hunter Robichaud, and Ray Diaz and Chris Crosby, both going to the same team. As a matter of fact, what does that kind of mean to you to have 6 players all go to the next level in just one summer?
I'm super proud of those guys, and they worked their butt off to get to that point. I just tried to help them a little bit get there, and I think those guys deserve it 100%, and it makes me proud to say that I got to coach them, because they were extremely talented, and success leaves clues. Those guys were very successful for a reason. They put in a ton of work, and they had a lot of confidence in themselves. And if there's one thing I can tell my future players is you've got to work your butt off, and you've got to have extreme confidence in what you do, and you have to have a little bit of faith that they put faith in me coming to Bancroft, and I told them the goal was to win a title and hopefully get a pro contract, and they were just really special guys, really special players to coach.
Yeah, absolutely. They all just seemed to buy in, and that was really special to see, just that culmination in the championship or them putting on a different jersey, but at that next level, and without a doubt, a lot of hard work put in. And without a doubt, Michael, it's safe to say that the success that you've had in this league has played a big factor for you landing your first head coaching job at the collegiate level. As you get closer to your first games at Bismarck State College as the head coach of the Mystics, this has got to be just a great payoff feeling for you, I'm sure. You've been coaching for 7 years now, and all this hard work has finally landed you a head coaching role at the collegiate level.
Yeah, this is my 7th year of coaching, and to get this opportunity and to lead such a really good program and to represent a great community and a great college. I'd like to thank Buster Gillis and the athletic department and the college for giving me a chance. And even though I'm 25 going on 26, I've paid my dues. Like you said, I've been coaching for 6 years. This is my 7th year, and I just try to every day work on my craft and get better, just like I did as a player. And that motivation and those goals, they don't stop now. They're just elevated even more. And yeah, I'm really excited and super blessed to be, the head coach of Bismarck State. It's a really cool feeling, and I'm really hoping for some really special things in the future for the program. Hopefully win a conference championship, a regional championship, and even elevate the program to a super regional and junior college World Series berth. That's the goal, and that's their goal. That's not mine. I just want to do my job and hold them accountable and hold them to that standard that they need to be at.
And it looks like you're already taking the spot over for a pretty solidified program at Bismarck State, as I'm sure a lot of those players very solid. It looks like you've been putting up the videos on your Twitter page at Coach Keeran, so that's always fun to see. But what I really like is that you're going to be joined at Bismarck State with fellow Bancroft coach Jacob VanVacter, who you've shared last year's success with. You both come from Valley City State, and now you're ready to take over and just lead the Mystics. Tell me what it's like to coach alongside Jake.
It's really positive. It's to be a first year head coach and to be alongside someone that not only I respect but is a good friend to me is really special. I think it's a really good fit for both of us. I think we're allowed to kind of do things the way we want to do it. And for me, it's a positive that he's here because I know he's not going to be a yes man. I know he's going to give me everything he has day in and day out, and he's going to give me the truth, whether it's good news, bad news, or indifferent. And he's been working his butt off. He's a really, really talented coach, and I'm really excited to be coaching with him here at Bismarck State and to coach him again this summer in Bancroft.
That's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about what your first couple of weeks were like for Bismarck State. You're busy getting some, starting to get your feet wet in the recruiting process. Had a couple of visits today, the day that we're actually recording this, and like I mentioned, a lot of great players already at the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. It's been chaotic. It's been kind of madness, but in a good way. I've been embracing it. It's a little different to have your first head coaching gig be in the middle of a year,
right?
2 months before a season. But it's been really positive. The guys have been working really hard. The culture here is really good, and we're going to continue that and just kind of add our flavor and our blend on things. But nothing crazy that we've changed. We've just holding them to a high standard, holding them to a championship culture and mentality that they want. And yeah, the recruiting process has been really good. They had some really talented players signed here already, and all of them are stayed true to commitment, and added a couple others since then, and had some really quality visits, and have a bunch coming up this month that are all very important in the 20 and 2021 classes that we are really looking forward to. I'm pumped to recruit the next wave of Mystics.
Well, great, Michael. Now let's go ahead and backtrack once again to this past summer, like we mentioned earlier. Back at Albert Lee in 2018, coming over in 2019 to Bancroft, they kind of knew what they were getting themselves in for. Obviously, they had a little bit of that close proximity rivalry between Albert Lee when they were still in the league and Bancroft. But they kind of welcomed you with open arms because you were promising a winning team, entertaining baseball, and a championship. And safe to say you delivered. But can you kind of tell us about your experience that you had with the Bandit faithful, the people of the Bancroft community, and what has their support done for the Bandits during your experience as the head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have the same philosophy as me, where they value good baseball. They value, they value trying to make this thing better year in and year out, and elevating the product on the field and off of it. And that's something I can really respect. That even though we just won a championship, we're trying to make it even better this season for the players and the fans. And we're trying to repeat as champions. And that's something I can really respect. The host families have been nothing but really, really good. They've been super generous and super friendly. I like all those families a lot. And I love the people I get to work with. I've got to go to Bancroft a couple times for various things and just kind of talk to them about the future of the team and the organization and the league, and we're all really fired up and ready to go. And it's a team effort. It's not just me, or it's not just the players. It's the entire community and all the people along that make this thing so special.
Very good. So let's go ahead now and finally jump ahead to the upcoming season. For the past couple of seasons, I believe your overall record is somewhere around where was it? It was 67-11 overall, I want to say.
Yeah.
In the sport of baseball, that's really just unprecedented, and you're still getting off the vibe, still trying to raise the envelope, and already it's kind of down to the process, just trying to fill in those last roster spots because we're already stacked once again. We have players coming in from D1 programs affiliated with the likes of like Nebraska, University of Central Florida, New Mexico. Kind of just fill in the blanks. What can we kind of expect for the upcoming season? Is the goal going to be another championship, or what else are you hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, I guess our goal would be to win another championship to hopefully help some more players get to the professional level. And I guess a personal goal to even just last year we had a little bit better winning percentage than my Albert Lee team, and that's my hope this year because that means I'm getting better every year. And even though it's super tough, because we went from 34-6 to 33-5, and it's like, what's next? It's the margin for error is already so small, and to make it smaller, but that's what's fun. I got to be competitive with myself, and my staff likes to be competitive. Me and Jake are about as competitive as they are. And yeah, we have a really special team signed. I think so far we have a couple spots in the pitching department that we got to fill, but offensively, it's nearly full, and it's looking extremely tough. That's something that I think I would say is offensively, we are going to be very good, very competitive, and have a lot of firepower.
And at the time of this episode, it's maybe a week or two into the spring season, I want to say, and already we're having a handful of players, obviously in the locations where they can play and the weather's permitting, really just tearing it up on the field. Who are you kind of looking forward to coaching that's really having just a great start to their season?
Yeah, we've had a little bit over probably half our team start, probably close to 75% the next day or two, almost 100. But so far, we have a couple All-Americans signed that haven't slowed down a bit. Mitchell went home from Fisher as a first baseman outfielder, and he's hitting over 400 with 4 home runs. He had a really good year last year and was an All-American. I think he's a guy that'll be a top of the order bat. He'll move around from first to the outfield, DH a little bit. And our other first baseman, Kylan Barnett from Lyon, he's having a huge year. He's already hitting over 400, and he was an All-American last year too. And he's a really good lefty bat. I think he had like 4 or 5 hits today with a triple and a doubleheader.
Wow.
And he's already left the yard, and yeah, he's a really special player. He's a really tough out. Luis Paleo from USAO is a top 5 NAI team. He's an outfielder, and he's hitting close to 400 and stolen already 5 or 6 bags. And I know he'll hit a good amount of doubles and triples and home runs. Yeah, he's on fire too right now. And Stacey Bailey is an infielder. He can play a little bit outfield, but he's an infielder. He's got a couple home runs on the year already. Sergio Macias, who can play short, third, catcher, second, first. He's just a utility guy. He's a really good player, and he's got, I think, a homer and a couple doubles and triples already. So, yeah, he's slugging it really well. And then on the mound, Tyler Zarella from Alvin Community College is killing it. He's got a couple wins. Kevin Miranda had his debut today and picked up a win for LSU Shreveport. And then Colton Walker makes his debut tomorrow for Bellevue, and Dominique Borger, who's an All-American for Dakota Wesleyan, makes his debut in a couple weeks. And he's going to be really, really tough. We have some D1 guys whose season don't start till next week that I'm really looking forward to. Like, we're really loaded all around the field. And yeah, we have a couple other All-Americans from the past. Drainus Ozuna who had 20-something home runs last year. Mark Castablanco, who had 20-something home runs a couple years ago. Like, we have a lot of firepower, and I think 1 through 9 and even our guys on the bench are just going to be really tough. But, yeah, we have some D1 guys, too, who are, really good. Lance Russell's returning, and he was a really good player for us. So, he'll start some at New Mexico at second base. And Garrett Wilkinson's a really good bat and can catch. He hit like 380 with like 8 home runs last year, and he's at Liberty, which is a D1. I think they open up with like Clemson, so that would be kind of cool to watch.
Wow.
Adrian Manharis, he debuts today, or tonight, I should say, from Bossier Parish. He was an all-conference catcher last year. He's really good. DJ Calvert is a D1 shortstop from Valparaiso who was on the JUCO National Championship last year. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have a couple other guys that I haven't announced yet, but we've signed that are going to be really, really good from top 4, top 3 NAIA programs who let's just say hit a lot of home runs and have a lot of good baseball in their past. There's a bunch of other guys. I mean, Christian Cienfuegos on the mound and, from Rice. He's a guy that's going to fire some balls. Kevin Grinald from Bethany's another fireballer. Yeah, I mean, we have some really good players that I'm really looking forward to coaching.
Well, hopefully I can get a lot of them on the Bandits Hideout.
Yeah, for sure, man. We've got a lot of good players, and it's what they make of it. What they make of this season. They come from. I think every single one of them comes from a winning program, and every single one of them's been all conference or all American in the past. So, sky's the limit again. It's just what we can do with it, how well we can gel. The cool thing is a lot of them. I mean, Edgar Suevas from USAO. I didn't mention him, but he's like a 90-mile-per-hour lefty, and he's actually had a really good start to his season. He's thrown like 6 shutout innings to start the year. He's kind of a closer guy for USAO. But he's like teammates with Luis, and some of these guys already know each other from junior college ball and from NAIA ball. So hopefully we can gel quick and get the winning going right away from game 1 to the last game.
Well, it seems like you're already building a culture, and that's just that much nicer to kind of have those guys that have already kind of had that experience playing together. We've seen that from the likes of all the boys down from El Paso, which I hope they're doing really well. Hopefully you can join us on the Bandits Hideout at some point. But, Michael, before I let you go, let's just kind of summarize again, what can the Bancroft community expect for the 2020 season?
I think you can expect, a pretty mature group. We have a little bit older players this year, a lot of sophomores, juniors, some seniors. So you're going to expect to see some grown men playing some baseball. And I think you're going to see some really quality baseball. I think you're going to see a lineup that 1 through 9 is very consistent and competitive and has a lot of firepower. It can leave the yard probably at any time, 1 through 9. And then on the mound, I think you're going to see a lot of competitors. We'll have some high velo guys, but we're going to have guys that know how to get hitters out, whether they're left-handed, right-handed, whatever arm angle they throw from. They're really competitive, and that's something, again, that I think last year's group, my Albert League group, and all those Clear Lake teams I coached, and this year's group, I think all share is they're really competitive. They're competitors. They love playing the game, and they want to win and succeed personally and as a team and as an organization. And that's something when, like I said, you can have winners surrounding themselves with winners. Winning's going to happen. Success is going to happen, and I'm really excited to be a part of the Bandits organization and the Bancroft community again, and to be in the Pioneer League. It's a great league ran by a really good owner who really cares about the sport, Donnie Roberts. And I think it's going to be another great year.
Well, fantastic. This has been the first official episode of the official podcast for the Bancroft Bandits, the Bandits Hideout. We're going to try to really stretch this thing out and try to get some current, upcoming, or even past Bandit players. So if you're interested in joining, be sure to get a hold of me, Mitchell Keeran, or could they also reach out to you, Coach Mike?
Yeah, you can reach out to me, and I'll get you hooked up with Mitch. I think this is pretty cool what I think Mitchell's creating, the podcast. I think it gives, the league and and the Bancroft community a little bit of preview of what you're like and what we're like as a team and organization. And it's a good spotlight for you guys. And yeah, go Bandits. I'm pumped, baby.
All right, fantastic. Michael, thank you once again for joining me on the Bandits Hideout. And again, this was episode number 1 of the Bandits Hideout. And thanks for stopping by. And as always, go Bandits.